Welcome to part 3 of our podcast series about the JVC HD GY100 camera. Today's guest is Miklosh Phillips, a Hungarian-born director of photography who shoots the HD GY100 for a variety of projects. Listen to Miklosh as he details his apprenticeship under Lazlo Noyman and describes how he adapts his extensive knowledge of cinematography and film lighting to the world of high definition.
Okay, my name is Miklosh Phillips. I'm originally from Hungary. I have apprenticed at a very young age with one of the greatest cinematographers in my book, who was a Hungarian cinematographer. His name was Lazlo Noyman. He's passed away just recently. I started apprenticing with him when I was 17, straight out of high school. I graduated early, and I worked with him for 3 years. This is where I learned most of my craft in real-life situations. He, in fact, comes from the same peer group, the class that went to the same film school, the Budapest Institute of Film and Dramatic Arts. He went to the same school with Vilmos Zsigmond and László Kovács, who are two big Hollywood directors of photography. László Kovács has shot Paper Moon, New York, New York, Ghostbusters, I believe. Those are the bigger films that everyone would know. Vilmos Zsigmond, of course, shot Deer Hunter, Witches of Eastwick. He recently just shot The Black Dahlia, which is coming out very soon. I come from kind of the old school of cinematography. The way we studied cinematography, it was through, actually a lot of it came through other arts such as paintings and sculpture. The concept being that you look at the Dutch masters, you had to understand how to work with light and composition in a frame. Meaning, is there a balanced composition in the frame? Then there's the concept of the thirds in the frame, what they call the golden triangle as well. You don't necessarily frame somebody in the center of the frame, but a little bit off into one of the thirds of the frame. So we studied paintings, Impressionistic, Renaissance, European paintings. In fact, when I was applying to the very same school that my boss or master cinematographer went to, I had to study big, thick phone book type art books on paintings and the different eras of paintings, from Cubism to Impressionism to the Dutch masters to the Italian Renaissance to you name it. It was all about composition and framing and lighting and how you paint with light. So I'm an advocate. I come from that kind of old school. So even today, when I compose a frame, I use those same very concepts. I come from film, cinematography. So my lighting tends to be very film-like. Even though I shoot video, I shoot with the HD100 with the cine lenses. I employ the same techniques that I employ in film cinematography. As a director of photography, when you arrive on the set, you already have, usually you have storyboards and you have a stylistic palette in your head that you have worked out in pre-production with the director. That's done through a pre-visualization process that some directors do more of, some directors do less of. Some directors like to improvise more on the set. Some people like to be somewhat there in pre-production in terms of really laying out a stylistic guide that you arrive at with the DP. The DP advises and works with the director in terms of the look and feel of the film. How does it look? How does it feel? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it fuzzy? Is it sharp? Is it wide angles or closer shots? Or, you know, you kind of come up with a stylistic set of images in your mind before you even arrive on the set. When you arrive on the set, then you confirm with the director. Things change, of course. So you reconfirm with the director that this is what we're doing. This is the scene. This is the shots. And then through artistic means, here you go into the more of the artistry, you light the scene the way you like it to look. And then you go into the more mechanical aspects of capturing, directing the photography. which is the choice of lenses, the camera movement, exposure, framing, composition, and more of that sort of mechanical capturing of what goes on in front of the camera. This film we're seeing behind me is a short film I shot just recently in San Francisco called The Wondrous Woman, starring Roseanne Lucarelli, who's on the East Coast. And it's about a superhero who is trying to be a normal person. It's usually the other way around. You look at Superman and a lot of the superhero stories, it's usually a normal person with superpowers who's trying to be a superhero. And it's kind of a reversal of that. It's kind of an action comedy. We shot for 5 days in San Francisco. It's a 20-minute short film. I recently acquired the JVC HD 100 camera, and I managed to talk the producers into using this camera, especially after they mentioned the fact that they are also interested in using the Mini 35 adapter from PS Technique that allows you to use 35mm lenses on this camera, because I knew that combination would give me, shooting in HD, a tremendous film-like quality. My experience in lighting for HD is you have to be more precise with the way you control the light. You have to be much more aware of the fact that you are showing a much bigger image, and everything is seen versus like a standard definition DV. So setting your flags and your light and everything, you just need to take a little more care, and it's very sensitive to everything that you see in HD. So I find the internal menu system very easy to navigate. One of the greatest things about this camera is the control that it gives you over the image that you can capture. You can also save every setting that you set up through the menu system onto an included SD card. And you can save up to 6 what they call scene files. That is every function of the camera that you set up in these menus as a custom setting for yourself. You can control the black levels and the white levels in various ranges. You have black stretch, you have black compress, you can control the white knee, which all refers to the gamma curve of an image. It has cine gamma as well internally that you can employ. I, for one, belong to the camp of DPs who believes that I should capture the widest latitude image possible, because the post-production aspect is out of my control, and I don't want to necessarily imprint my own restrictive capture on the film. My job as a DP, as far as I'm concerned, is to capture the widest latitude image possible and give that data, because essentially it's data, to the post-production people, so then they can later use the most amount of information to control that image. And you can always compress the blacks later, and you can manipulate the image in color correction stage to whatever you want, as you please. I encourage every HD 100 owners to explore the menu settings for establishing the look of the camera. On the forum that I mentioned, dvinfo.net, in fact, we owners share scene files and tips and tricks again on creating certain looks, and there's a bunch of scene file settings that exist that give you a bleached camera, or the bleached film look, for instance. Then there's one that's the widest latitude look, which is what I use. There's one that's like a very high contrast, very saturated look. You have a control over every aspect of your image through the menu, and you can save that file for later use. And if you have a multi-camera setup, you can also take the card out of the camera 1, for instance, and put it into the other camera, so the 2 camera settings will be perfectly matched.